Let me also bring in Ashutosh, author and political analyst, Rajat Sethi, political commentator. Ashutosh, what's going to be also interesting in all of this is, and it will happen on both sides of the political divide, nomination day might have been ended, it might be curtains down, but it's going to be all important on when is the final day to take back your nomination. That will practically decide where each of these parties stand and how well they've been able to manage the rebels and the independent-friendly fights.
See, Preeti, I don't read much into these rebellions or these other kinds of accusations, because in electoral politics and coalition politics, these are things which will happen and which keep happening in every election, whether it was the Haryana election or a parliament election or in Maharashtra itself. Look at Haryana election. There were a lot of candidates, a lot of rebellions. So every time when the ticket distribution happens in every constituency, there will be 10 claimants, only one claimant will get the ticket. So there will be problems. And in the coalition politics, if one party wants his candidate to be given ticket, then other party will also stake claim for them. So I don't read much into this. The issue is that in this election, where at one side is the three political parties led by Uddhav Thackeray, Sharad Pawar and the Congress, other is Eknath Shinde, Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar. So whether the people of Maharashtra are going to accept the splitting of political parties, whether they'll accept that, or the kind of accusation which Uddhav Thackeray is labeling against these political parties, are the Sharad Pawar parties labeling that they are Gaddars. So the issue is this. How come the...
But you know, Ashutosh, many who've been on ground actually now differ to concur with what you're saying. And, you know, give me 1 minute. I want to bring in Rajdeep Sardesai, who's walked in with his new book in his hand into the studio. But, you know, Rajdeep, with what Ashutosh is saying, that, you know, it's still a matter of the Gaddar. I don't think the Gaddar factor is any more prevalent where this election is concerned. It's got more to do with beneficiary schemes. It's got more to do with independence. It's got more to do with a lot else other than what was the narrative in Lok Sabha.
You know, I think what has happened, and you're right, to a large extent, I think in the last 5 months, what we've seen is increasingly the Maharashtra elections getting tied up in hyper-local factors. And you can see that in seat distribution. Why are parties changing their candidates? Because they're looking for winnability at the local level. Across the spectrum, across parties, if there is one thing that seems to unite all the political parties at the moment, is their desperation to look for candidates who they perceive as winnable, even if that means getting them to switch their symbol, defying their allies if possible, having friendly fights. We're seeing this with Nawab Malik. Think about it. Till a week ago, the BJP said Nawab Malik is a Dawood aide who should be denied a ticket. As a result, Nawab Malik got his daughter to fight from his old seat where he won last time, Anushakti Nagar. And in the neighboring constituency now, he will fight on an NCP Ajit Pawar seat against a candidate of the Eknath Shinde faction in what some are calling a friendly fight. Others are saying it is a fight to the finish. So every constituency, and this is across the state, you're seeing increasingly localized fights. As a result of which, I don't know whether there is any single narrative, whether it's beneficiary scheme, whether it's Gaddar, that's running all the way from Marathwada to Vidarbha to North Maharashtra to Konkan, Mumbai. So that is, I think, a defining characteristic as of now of this Maharashtra election. The fact that you're seeing hyper-localization, Preeti, being taken to another level.
Rajdeep, you know, one quick question before we let you go. Do you think, because yes, it's curtains down where nomination is concerned, but the games will actually begin when it's going to be curtains down on taking back nominations, because a lot is going to happen from here on till then?
Absolutely. Just look at the number of rebels. Virtually every constituency has a rebel or an independent who is relatively strong, has been denied a ticket and is contesting. Look at someone like Samir Bhujbal, the nephew of Chhagan Bhujbal. He is contesting as an independent. Now, he's the kind of independent who will either expect to win or defeat one of the main contenders. Now, can you get a Samir Bhujbal to withdraw? Are there other such rebels who can be withdrawn? There are reports of how the Shinde Sena has put up a few strong candidates because they want to defeat someone within the Mahayuti. Similarly, you're hearing similar stories within the Mahavikas Aghadi that there are Congress candidates who may be contesting as independents with the sole purpose of defeating their official candidate. Who manages the rebels is a major factor.
Which side has a better tendency to manage and make their rebels or certain independents sit down?
Look, I would expect...
How much money is going to play a big role in all
money
of
is
this?
a big, money plays a major role, but the fact is that the BJP has prepared for this election, I think, more than their competitors. They've been preparing over the last 5 months and course correcting. Having said that, someone like Sharad Pawar understands the ground realities of Maharashtra possibly better than most, even at the age of 84. So you're seeing in someone like Sharad Pawar, someone who has the capacity to at least understand what is required at the ground level, which rebel needs to be put up, which rebel needs to be withdrawn. I think there are a variety of reasons that make this election in Maharashtra, therefore, much more about management than mahal. Some elections are about building a mahal, anti-incumbency, Gaddar. These are the emotive issues, Maharashtrian Asmita. And some elections, Preeti, become about management of the last mile connectivity, ensuring rebels are either put up or withdrawn at the last moment to ensure either a division of votes or a consolidation of votes. And I think you're going to see that play out in a major way in Maharashtra this time.
Well, the BJP had the better of the Congress where Haryana was concerned, and exactly what Rajdeep was saying. But, with the issues that he's speaking of, Rajat Sethi, I want to pull you in on this, because one of the issues that the BJP is hoping to bank is on the issue of Hindutva. There are posters all across Maharashtra as well as Jharkhand where batenge to katenge, clarion call of unity, where Hindus in Maharashtra are concerned, hoping to paper over the fault lines which come in, where the Dalit vote, the OBC vote, and the division there, especially with what we saw in Lok Sabha.
So I don't think, Preeti ji, that this is the official BJP's campaign slogan for either of the states of Jharkhand or Maharashtra. But as you know, in election season, a lot of local leaders also put up posters in what they believe is the best way to go about presenting their perspective to the public. And I believe it is this local level leadership who has come up with these posters, largely trying to allay the fears that if a similar Maratha consolidation happens towards the Aghadi, and the OBC reverse polarization is not as much as the BJP would anticipate, this is going to go against the BJP, and this is the reason why a lot of local leaders, local contestants of the BJP would want to ensure that there is no division within the Hindu bloc of vote. I don't think it's going to work that well. There are a lot of local issues. There is anti-incumbency against sitting MLAs as well, but this election is an election of very, very low margin of errors. And across party lines, everybody is forced to retain most of their sitting MLAs, primarily because they cannot risk them going out and cutting into the vote. And I think this is where every party, all the 6 major parties are struggling to ensure that their flock is together. There is no, doubts on vote transfer between the parties on one common alliance. And we saw in the Lok Sabha election that the NCP Ajit Pawar vote did not get transferred to the BJP or Shiv Sena. Will that problem come up again? Those are the set of challenges which a lot of the alliance partners and the local leaders are really worried about across party lines, by the way.
Rajat, stay with me, because what we were speaking of, let's just play it out there, because there are these posters which are coming in. And yes, this is not the official line, but elections are not fought on one particular narrative. It's like an onion. There are multiple layers to it. If there's a Ladki Behan Yojana, which appeals to a certain set, then possibly a batenge to katenge narrative will appeal, to somebody else where Maharashtra is concerned. But Ashutosh, I want to bring you in on that. And that's the problem, because a lot of political analysts seem to be getting swayed with what the numbers and what the narrative was in Lok Sabha 2024. Haryana is a prime example. That didn't quite happen. This is increasingly looking like a localized election, and one needs to manage it very, very well. The question is, does the Aghadi actually understand that? Because many thought that they practically breezed into this election thinking they had it in the bag, because 2024 Lok Sabha Maharashtra result favored them. You're on mute, sir.
See, Preeti, every election is a different election. It's unfair to compare parliamentary elections in 2024 with the Maharashtra election. Yes, there is a background, and in that background, everybody thought that the BJP will have a tough time in Haryana. But look what happened over there. Similarly, in Maharashtra, the BJP could not get even 20 seats. just reduced to the 17 seats with their allies. So on that basis, if we are going to predict that the BJP is going to have a tough time in Maharashtra and the Aghadi is ahead, I'm not buying that argument. The point is very, very simple today, that even Aghadi, if it wants to win the election, then they have to regroup, they have to be more cohesive, more disciplined, and have to create a narrative. Till now, has they been able to create a narrative? I don't think that narrative is still created. Till now, the BJP has been able to create a narrative. No, I don't see that also happening. So the issue is, now once the nomination is over, once the scrutiny is over, when the candidates are finalized, only then the clear picture will emerge. I don't agree with this about the last mind management. See, BJP and the RSS has been doing it for donkey's years. It's not that in every one election they micromanage, in the next election they don't micromanage. So this is the hyper advertisement about the Haryana they won because of their micromanagement. I don't buy that argument. My point is simple. On the day of the polling, which political party has connected well with the people is ahead and can win the election, and the party which fails to connect with the people just fails.
Rajat, one of those very factors that we are speaking of, and there are multiple ones, to bring in, because again, viewers, you can't talk about one single narrative and say that this is what the BJP or the opposition, the Aghadi, is going into this election with. There are multiple narratives that each of the alliances are going to take to the people, and it depends which one strikes the chord with whom. But Rajat, one of those factors which we saw, and of course, Haryana was just a micro example of what is a macro state like Maharashtra, is the RSS factor. And this time around, there seems to be a cohesive push where the RSS is concerned as well. Very vocal is that. On mute, Rajat.
I beg to differ with Ashutosh ji on this point. Very small activities of actually knocking every single door in a campaign cycle, having enough number of workers and enough number of your well-wishers on the ground who can go out and ask for vote. As simple a gesture as that. If you do not have enough manpower on the ground, even doing that becomes very hard. And this is where you would want to wish away RSS's role. But contrary to that, it is that ground mobilization of your workers who, by the way, have to be enthused about what you are standing for. Is there ideological purity in what you stand for? All of those things are going to mobilize people on the ground for the UT or for the BJP per se. But narrative building is essentially the exercise of the opposition. When opposition mounts the campaign against you, that is how, that's when they need to have the right set of narrative. What has happened in the 3-4 months post Lok Sabha results, the Aghadi went into a comfort zone that Maharashtra is anyway going to fall into their lap no matter what. And they wasted a considerable amount of time not building up the anger or the passions that they could have potentially built up in terms of narrative. And I think this is what the incumbent government of the UT has been able to do. Essentially, an incumbent manages the state of affairs. You have government policies to put forth, etc. And I think UT did fantastically well. And now that they have some narrative around some of these schemes, etc., to go back to the people and at least talk about it.
Ashutosh wants to make a point. Ashutosh, come in.
Yeah. See, if you go back to the parliamentary elections in 2024, which political party or which alliance was the most well prepared? It was NDA. But look, last minute, they failed. So, Ram Mandir was built over there. There was a 10 years, Narendra Modi's popularity was there. And there was a RSS, BJP muscle power was there. Organization was there. Resources were there. But still, they could not get the 272. That's what I'm trying to say. That it's not that in one election, the BJP and the RSS tries to micromanage or have a Panna Pramukh in the next election. They will not have that. They do have that. In 2004, they lost badly. In 2009, they lost again. So the issue is, how much a political formation is in a position to connect with the people and whether the people are resonating with that narrative. If one political formation succeeds in that, they win the election. It's as simple. I'm not buying the argument that in Haryana they manage, in Maharashtra they manage, the parliament they did not micromanage. No, it happens every time. That is their style.
I'm running out of time, and that's all the time that we have for